Well, Billy, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Wish we could be in person, and I look forward to actually being able to meet you soon in person. But thank you again for joining me today.
Glad to be here.
Well, let's just go ahead and get right to the point. And my first question for you today, just out of curiosity more than anything, is, the pandemic really impacted higher education last year. And I know Texas A&M made some significant changes. What type of changes were made to adapt to the pandemic? And then what do you see as changes as the incoming fall semester is approaching?
Well, we made the biggest change we made, and really the most unanticipated one, was to take all of our classes in all of our system schools online in an 8-day space. And that was quite a technological challenge, but it seemed necessary since everyone was going to be at home for some period of time or back and forth between there and school. So students had the option, they could attend in person and or they could be online. We also enhanced the cleaning and air filtration. We began monitoring affluence to try to keep an eye on what was going on campus. Of course, we offered refunds on dorms and food for students who went home or left the dorms, made financial aid available through federal funds and our own funds for students who were impacted. And finally, we as a system were critical to the response. Our public health, school, and our agencies, the Division of Emergency Management, the Forest Service, Extension Service, they've all pitched in to move commodities around the state, to deliver testing supplies and do all of that. So it was really an amazing response on the part of the system.
Wow, that is incredible. I mean, I didn't even really think about it in terms of beyond the education side of things, but the response.
Right. We had probably 1,500 people in the system working on the statewide response.
Well, that kind of leads into the second question that I had too, is I think Texas A&M is the largest U.S. college that's participating in the national study that's evaluating COVID-19 in college students. And I think, you all are participating with the White House and the Department of Education in what's called the College Vaccine Challenge. Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about that and kind of the public education component to that.
Well, those are a couple of things. One is the study, which is a national study to understand how the disease, now and in the future affects people in that young age bracket. Because a lot of them were asymptomatic, but we don't know what the long-term health effects are. So it's an entirely voluntary thing. The participants are paid. They want to do something to help the country in the future. And so, we've had a good, like 400 people volunteer. One of the priorities of the chancellor and the board was to make testing widely and easily available on campus, and to make vaccinations widely and easily available on campus. And, the White House challenge is a part of that outreach effort. It's, provides education, it provides any kind of information people need to make an informed choice about getting vaccinated, and then to make sure through the Health Science Center and through the, what's known as the Quack Shack, Student Health Services, that they can easily get a vaccine anytime they want.
Amazing. Another kind of fallout from the pandemic too was just a dramatic drop in both minority and international student enrollment. Not just at A&M, but across the board, across the country. So really, tell me what the system has done to align with learning preferences and addressing those challenges.
Well, I mean, we've been offering courses online. And as far as the international students go, that may have been a choice if they happen to have left the country to go to their own homes, because travel between countries was so difficult for much of last year. And, there were other students who had to go home because of financial pressures. Maybe someone in the family lost a job because of the pandemic, one thing and another. So, one of the things we've done is provide an enormous amount of aid to students to help bridge any gaps that are there. And then, we've been providing the online resources that they need to continue their education. Although, as Chancellor Sharp says, you can get an education online, but you can't become an Aggie online. So, that's why we want them to all come back in the fall.
And as an Aggie mom, I couldn't agree with you more, and I couldn't agree with the chancellor more. When I saw that email, I was like, absolutely right. Yeah. Okay, so let's not talk about the pandemic anymore. I think we're all probably tired of talking about the pandemic, but shifting to more forward thinking too, and forward facing, what are the top priorities of the system for 2022?
Not that you can, I guess we can't escape it exactly, but we want to get everyone back on campus. We want to resume intercollegiate athletics. We want to resume in-face classes, but we want to do it in a way that's as safe as possible. So beyond that, I think we want to continue our mission, which is education, research, and service. We want to keep costs down. That's an important factor for students. And, part of our mission is to serve all the students in Texas that want to be, have a higher education degree at one of our institutions. And, we want to continue to be leaders in research. That's why we put so much effort on our Rellis campus in Bryan, where Army Futures Command and other things are located.
Right. That's a beautiful campus.
Well, I'm glad you got to see it.
So then I guess my last question too, again, just looking forward, is what do you envision for the growth of the system across the state of Texas? Kind of what are the plans for that growth?
We want to continue to grow. We want to continue to innovate, and we want to continue to serve the state and its families. And I think we keep that centermost. I know the board does and the chancellor does. And, I think if we stick to that, we can't go wrong.
Absolutely. And to fulfill the growing, as you said, the growing population that we have, everyone wants to come here.
Right. And we need to make sure that we're training a workforce that meets the needs of all these businesses that are coming.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree with that statement more. Well, thank you again for your time today. I sure appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And it's been enjoyable having a conversation, and just have a wonderful day.
Yeah, and say hi when you're in College Station.
I absolutely will.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.